Good morning, guys. It is Thursday. We have jobless claims, unemployment going live at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. We also have the Philly Fed Manufacturing Index for February going live at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time as well. This is also, while we have multiple different Fed speakers, we have specifically Michelle Bowman speaking at 8:30. We have Raphael Bostic speaking at 8:20. And more today, guys. More today. Walmart just reported their earnings. If you look at what I put up in the chat, Walmart posted an EPS of 74 cents. They expected 73 cents, so a slight beat in EPS. Revenue of 190.7. They expected 190.4, so better than expected. They also announced a 30 billion share buyback. They're still reacting negatively. It probably wasn't as big of a beat as they wanted here. Slight beats on both EPS and revenue, but you can see Walmart right here. It is going down a little bit on this report, down slightly on this report, and this did pull the NASDAQ down some. This is when Walmart earnings dropped, so it did pull the NQ down slightly from this report, but nothing yet. And yeah, we can take a look at yields. We had the Fed minutes report come out yesterday that a lot of people considered more hawkish than expected, but it was basically data dependent and neutral. What it was. It was data dependent and neutral. Wasn't a crazy report. Wasn't moving. Didn't move markets a ton. And again, it makes sense. I think we're somewhere in the middle in terms of inflation versus a recession. And again, I know just me saying that might bother some people, but I do think it's somewhere in the middle. I think we have weak labor and inflation risks, especially if you consider how much inflation has happened over the last 6 years. You know, inflation's not good either, of course. But they even said some parts of the Fed minutes that they could raise. And they wanted language in the report about raising potential if inflation is sticky. And so we'll see what happens there. We can take a look at oil this morning. Oil is kind of one of the big stories. It's up to $66 a barrel. It ripped to its highest level since last summer on fears the U.S. could launch a weeks-long military campaign against Iran, threatening supplies from Iran and potentially the Strait of Hormuz. J.D. Vance said Iran hasn't met U.S. key demands in nuclear talks and stressed that President Trump is ready to use military force while the U.S. moves carriers into the region and Iran runs drills and launches near Hormuz, elevating the war risk premium in crude. Traders are now gaming scenarios for partial export disruptions to a full Hormuz choke point that could send oil higher if it gets worse. So a lot of traders are getting baked into oil right now because of the war premium potential. And what that means is when the U.S. goes to war with Iran, or any country, but especially the Middle East, oil will become more scarce, more expensive for us, because you get a lot of oil from the Middle East, and you can have supply problems and more. So because of that, Middle East instability and geopolitical tensions there causes oil to spike. We are up to $66 a barrel. This morning, $66 a barrel, and this is after oil's been under 50 for a minute here. You know, oil's been under 50 for a while. It was at 55s. You know, had stayed under 50 since October, really, up until January. So again, let me know where you guys think oil is going. Rates are still at historic lows. I do not believe that. Rates are at historic lows. I mean, look, if we're talking about the federal funds rate is currently here. You know, you can see the entire last 16 years. I would say 80% of the time over the last 16 years, we've actually been lower than this in terms of interest rates. Let me push this up. So again, here's the federal funds rate. We're talking about the Fed funds rate. You know, you could look at this. If we're talking about mortgages, they're at 6% right now. That's definitely not historic lows. Now, I think a lot of people take into consideration this right here, but this was kind of a weird time. 60s, 70s, early 80s, kind of a weird time. We had inflation risks spike dramatically, and so there's a period of time back here where, you know, the Fed had to be aggressive and raise interest rates and do all that stuff. But Reality of it is, if you take a look at rates over the last 20 years, this is the last 26 years right here. Currently here, we're actually above the last 20-year average, I would say. Again, the last 20 average is about right there. So I don't know if I'd call that historic lows. Maybe you meant it in a different way, you know? But it's all love. It's all good. Rates were near 20% in the 80s. Well, sure they were, but I'm looking at the last 20 years. So we have ECB's DeMarco saying not the end of the world if euro reaches 120 to 125. Yeah, so just some data to look at here is we had January non-farm payrolls were relatively strong. They were at 130,000 for January NFP. January CPI data and core CPI further showed slowdowns in price. All right. December retail sales advanced estimates flatlined in December, and GDP data was strong. The last GDP data we got. Now, this is leading into tomorrow with PCE inflation and GDP data going live at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. But Netflix, I'm in Netflix right now. Again, oil up, elevated on the Iran news. Netflix is kind of flat on the day. Oil is flying for sure. Again, it's all good. We can agree to disagree regarding historical lows. When I hear historical lows, that means it's some of the lowest in history. And again, maybe you meant it in a different way, but historical lows would be historical lows. You know? If we're talking about historical averages, that's a different thing. That's a completely different thing. Again, if we're talking about historical averages, I don't know. We might be close to where that's at. I'd have to check a little bit longer history of it. Good morning, everyone. What's up, Thug Muffin? What's up, McLovins? What's up, Dominic? What's up, Jason? Heck, 7-5, Elsewhere, On, Mark, It's Bad, On the Rail, Mellow, Joseph, Black Mamba, Womble, Plasma, Max, Farmer, D, Todd, David, Jonathan, Jeff. So guys, good morning. The last 20 years is still recent history characterized by recovery from the 2008 global financial crisis. Look at the NASDAQ pop up here, guys. Look at the NASDAQ pop up. I want to see if this is Walmart related. Not. We did have, what else do we have? We had Etsy dropped earnings. They posted an EBITDA. If you ever hear the word EBITDA, it seems big and jargon and confusing. It just stands for earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization is what EBITDA stands for. But they posted EBITDA of 222 million. They expected 213 million. Revenue of 882 million. They expected 884 million. So Etsy missed revenue, beat adjusted EBITDA. But the NASDAQ is popping up here. See if it holds. Nvidia's rebounding a little bit. Apple's flat. Meta's flat. Google's flat. Microsoft's flat. Etsy's pushing up. Could be Etsy and retail related pushes this morning here. Again, Walmart's still flushing down some. ECB's DeMarco says inflation consistently below 2% could need cut. I don't know. I got out of Hims a couple days ago. What's up, BP? Buenos dias, mi amigo. Good morning, Big Slum, BA. I've used Etsy before, mostly for like Christmas, or like mostly for Christmas or birthday gifts for family. You know, they're good for that in that regard. Walmart's still breaking down though. Look at Walmart here. Walmart down to 122s. Morning 122s. Only reason Walmart isn't much worse is institutions don't sell pre-market because they get crappy price for that volume. Yeah. And again, going back to this, the last 20 years is still recent history. Again, I'm going back to it. You said historical lows, which means the lowest in history is how I interpret historical lows. We're definitely not the lowest in history in terms of rates. Tell that to 6% mortgages. You know, Fed funds rates at 3.75 to 3.5 to 3.75. So, if we're talking about historical averages, again, that's a different thing completely. We can take a look at yields. Again, yesterday, and we do have jobless claims unemployment in the Philly Fed Index, but yesterday yields went up a little bit on the Fed minutes report, I think. A little bit, I don't think it was hawkish necessarily, but I think it was data dependent enough to scare people. And with that, you can see yields go up here. We're almost up to 4.1% right now. NASDAQ's still trying to push, but look at 4.1% basically for yields, just under that. And again, jobless claims at 8:30, expected at 222,000. We will get a timer up here. All right, we got a timer up. We got about an hour left until that jobless claims number drops. Again, Fed funds odds. We're at 5.9% when I looked at them yesterday. They're still at 5.9%. They're basically unchanged, and it's still looking like June. I hear some people also asking me about, you know, regarding a Supreme Court decision. We might potentially get one tomorrow. So tomorrow we might potentially get a Supreme Court decision regarding the tariffs. So again, we will see. Again, so U.S. payrolls showed strength. January core CPI further slowed down in price. Retail sales flatlined in December. GDP grew at a strong 4.4% annualized pace for quarter 3. Tomorrow is the first initial estimate of quarter 4 GDP data. Goes live at 8:30. NASDAQ starting to fall down here. Amazon's been a lot of this big push in markets recently, and we did buy Amazon. We're still in it. We caught the bounce. You still have millions of homeowners with actual historical low mortgage rates below 3%. Yes, but that's not current rates. Those are already locked in mortgages from pre-2020 mostly. Maybe 2021, 2020, pre-2022, I should say. But yeah, those are old mortgages. If someone has a mortgage at 2%, which is probably not going to happen, from 1985, which they probably didn't get one at 2% in 1985, but if they got one at 2%, just an example, from 1985, okay, that's a bad example. If they've got a 30-year mortgage that's going to run out soon, from 2004 is a better example, and let's call it 2%. Can I say current mortgage rates are 2%? No, I can't. Walmart trying to bounce a little bit. I would just say, look, we're not at historical lows. We might be on average versus history. Maybe a little bit below average if you take into account the 80s, 70s, late 60s. But I think a lot of people still want economic stimulus. And so it just depends on who wins in that situation. I think we have risk to both sides. Risk to both sides. They're going to fudge jobless claims. Maybe. Some guy said these tax returns are going to throw us into a recession. The historical moment, everybody's selling crypto for gold and silver. Maybe. You know, Bitcoin, let's take a look at it this morning. As much as I hate to say it, Bitcoin's at 66,600 right now. 66,600 for Bitcoin. It's still down. Started to drop yesterday. Still down a little bit today. Oh, here's yesterday. So we are red relative to where we were when we opened yesterday. Pulling back a little bit at 66. Let's see if Bitcoin holds here, guys. Fed minutes report. $3 million vehicle repossessions in 26, the highest since 2009. SPY and Q outflows. SPY saw $1 billion in net outflows over 5 trading days, ending February 18th. Yeah, I heard the vehicle market was a little sketchy right now. Southern Co just posted 55-cent EPS versus 58 cents expected. Operating revenue at 7.01 versus 5.98. So good revenue, bad EPS margins for SO. Southern Co. Not really moving too much though. Guys, so again, here is some of the data we got last week. All right, so here's some of the data we got last week. Let me get this out the way. So this is last week's data here. Again, last week we got payrolls. Headline job numbers look robust. January CPI and core CPI inflation cooled further on both headline and core. Retail sales spending essentially stalled into the end of the year, and quarter 3 GDP output at a solid 4.4%. So this is data we've gotten not just the last week, but the last few weeks here. And again, this is leading into tomorrow's PCE inflation report. If we look at what's expected tomorrow, tomorrow we are expected to show up for PCE inflation data. Core PCE is the big one. It's expected at 0.3% and 2.9% on the year. And again, this is what the Fed uses to gauge it. This is what the Fed uses to gauge inflation. Recession is a function of GDP. Tax returns have nothing to do with GDP. Vehicle gaming movies seems like everything is down from past glory days. Well, movies is going to be down. Movies are going to be down. Why are movies down? Well, streaming is taking off a little bit more. You know, streaming is a bigger thing now. There's less big movies that are just like movie theaters take less risks now is what is like the base of it. They take less risks. Studios take less risks. They are less willing to put movies in theater because of fears over how they might perform versus historically when they would just kind of throw movies out there and see which ones would perform good. And so, yeah, movie theaters are just less willing to take risks. You also see this in television. Right, in television series, you know, we used to get a new series every year. Now it takes a few years, and they don't greenlight it until the first one's over, basically. And so a little bit now, it does take longer to build these things because now they're all mini movies. Each episode is like a mini movie, so it takes a little bit longer to film and create. But now we have to wait longer for series to come out, years a lot of the time. So yeah, the big winner is Netflix, right? And that's kind of why I buy. Again, I'm not telling everybody to buy Netflix, but that's why I have bought it. Is because I think Netflix long term is going to be solid. I think they're going to grow. I think they're poised to benefit from this if anybody does. I think even with AI, they're going to use AI to build stuff, and they might actually produce things faster with AI. So that's kind of why I've got Netflix shares. Now there's a little shakeout happening right now, and again, I don't know how long this is going to last. Netflix is king. The S&P E-mini saw the bears trapped on footprint, went in long to sell off all balance. Housing bubble, auto bubble, AI bubble, all gonna pop like dominoes. Yeah, AI is making movies now, and it's only gonna get better. And within a few years, AI is gonna be building much more impressive movies, much more impressive movies. And again, at the very least, we're gonna see some of these studios start to build, or start to use AI a lot, you know, with their creation. But we'll still have actors. I think we're still gonna, you know, have all this stuff, but we're gonna start seeing more AI actors, and we're gonna start seeing studios use AI to build things faster, hopefully. And so we should get a speed up in terms of seasons and everything like that. Might take a few years though. Yeah, I like Night of the Seven Kingdoms. You know, I intentionally didn't read the Hedge Knight book because I didn't want to spoil the show. And that's kind of the opposite. Most of the time, people who watch the show, they make sure they want to tell you they read the book. But I didn't read the book. Man, last episode was good. Last episode was good. Plus, AI videos and movies are becoming more real and extremely cheap relative to Hollywood productions. I mean, actors aren't done. We're still going to use actors. Like, I guarantee, at least for this generation, because this generation has grown up with specific actors. And so they're going to use those actors at the very least until this generation phases out of it, I think. I could be wrong here, but I think. Yeah, last episode was good. I started the rip, I didn't finish it. It didn't hold my attention in the first few minutes, but I've been moving, man. I've been busy. I've been traveling, dude. Like, we've had so many people at my house. Like, we've had family stay here. We've had, you know, just a bunch of different guests stay at my house over the last 2 months. We've also gone out of town and out of state multiple different times, like 3 or 4 times in the last month, in the last few months. I'm just burnt out. I'm tired. So, you ever done any acting? Yeah, well, I act like the greatest trader of all time here. So we did have some news. Polish Prime Minister Tusk says Polish citizens in Iran should leave immediately. Quote, in a few hours, there may be no more possibility to evacuate via MSNOW News. I just put up 2 of my cars, 2008, S200, S2000. I like the S2000. That's kind of sad to get rid of. You gotta realize things don't last forever. Movie theaters are barely 100 years old. There's nothing in the whole timeline. Yeah. All right, guys. Again, jobless claims unemployment, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, 8:30. Nasdaq's trying to get up here, though. It's trying to get over this 890 level. 24.9s right here. 25,000. You know, we couldn't really hold over it. I'm definitely watching 25K today. I think 25K right here. If we have like a big green day, I'd love to see if we make a push towards this 25,000 level. You know, I usually trade levels, so I'm looking at 25,000. I think 2550 at the top of this makes sense as well right here. Worth watching. We're kind of fighting over the 200 exponential short term right now. Here's 24.9s. I have to draw my levels on the charts, but 24.9s. Kind of a breakdown this morning. And again, this is leading into PCE inflation data. This is leading into GDP data tomorrow. There's no way AI could have made this Game of Thrones series or Stranger Things. Sure, they could visually make it come close, but there's no way to nail the peak emotional scene. Not yet. Not yet. But I think eventually it probably will get close. Have you guys seen the AI song from the Blink 182 song? It's like an Atom song, AI. It's honestly impressive. It's impressive. Again, it's genuinely impressive. Like, I'll show you. So this was an AI song that AI created. It's the second AI song where I heard it. And again, Adam's song, very sad song. All right, just to preface this, very sad song. It's not how I feel, you know, obviously. But the AI song was good. The AI song was good. And if you want to check it out here, this is the link to it. It was genuinely impressive. Genuinely impressive. I can't play it here. Well, nobody watches like old school television. Streaming is taking over. What's your take on the possibility of rate hikes as revealed in the FOMC Fed meeting minutes report? I think if inflation starts to go up, they might raise. We're not really seeing that yet, though. Inflation has been slowing. And so we're not really seeing inflation go up. Inflation has been slowing. But I do think if we start to see high inflation, you know, they might raise. They might raise. Now, I hope it doesn't happen. I hope we don't have to raise. I hope inflation doesn't spike. You know. So, I mean, I hope we don't have to raise, but it's all relative to what inflation shows up as. All right, so SEC Chairman Paul S. Atkins says the SEC is rolling out multiple crypto regulatory initiatives in the coming weeks to months here. He said, I am honored to be on stage today. This was yesterday with Paul Atkins. Before we get in, let me remind you my statements in his or own or in our official capacity do not reflect the views of the commission of our fellow commissioner. Chairman Atkins needs a little introduction. So see what happens on that front. Again, Walmart did report earnings this morning. It's starting to break down a little bit. But it wasn't terrible earnings. It's slightly BDPS, which was not enough in this current market. I heard somebody else mention the PE ratio. That is probably true. And again, yields are a little bit higher today, a little bit higher, although they have gone down slightly. Again, yields are at 4.094%. You can see the move they've made over the last few days here for treasury yields. 10-year yields, they're up. So that means yields, or that means bonds are probably down today, right? Yeah, slightly down bonds. And again, guys, we're heading into jobless claims unemployment, 45 minutes, 44 minutes, really. Some company bought Soldier Boy's voice to use as an AI. We might start seeing licensing done with that stuff as well here. Again, Japan may see an upheaval of funds when Bank of Japan hikes rates to 1%, says economists. Again, most of the news today is centered around 8:30. At 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, we have multiple Fed speakers. We have jobless claims, trade deficit data, Philly Fed manufacturing data. We've got Bowman speaking. We've got Bostic speaking at 8:20. And we got Neil Kashkari speaking at 9 a.m. today. And again, this heads into tomorrow's GDP for quarter four. It is expected at 2.5% versus 4.4% for quarter three last time. We have PCE inflation expected at 0.3% and 2.8% for headline, and core at 3% and 0.3%. We also have flash manufacturing and services PMI tomorrow, and this is in a wake of some high numbers for the ISM PMI data. Now, this is the S&P flash data, but we do have that tomorrow at 9:45. And then we have delayed home sales and prelim Michigan consumer sentiment data. Next week, we've got PPI inflation data at the end of the week. We have delayed PPI data for January coming out. and more. And so we'll see what happens. We also have Nvidia earnings next week, which could drastically move markets. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm back from Adam's song. What'd you think of it? Honestly, it's kind of good. It's kind of good. I can't, as much as I don't even like saying this. Like, I feel weird listening to an AI guy sing me a song. But it's kind of good. I can't help but say it. I mean, it genuinely is, unfortunately. And I think it's bad that it's good. You know? I don't think it's good that it's good. Because I think it takes away human creativity to a certain extent. But it's kind of good. It's kind of good. Yeah, again, a lot of this is centered at 8:30 today. Nvidia going to move higher. Why? I don't know. Nvidia needs to get over 190s and 200s and actually hold. Again, my level that I'm watching on Nvidia, and this is a level we talked about before this move happened right here. We're watching 193.60s. 193.60s has acted as resistance to Nvidia multiple times here. And so 193.60s on Nvidia is what I'm watching as we start to push up. 193.60s is a level I'm paying attention to. And again, we'll see. 200, I think, obvious big psychological level up here for Nvidia, $200. And we do have kind of a bullish trend over the last 24 to 48 hours in Nvidia. Obviously, on Tuesday, Nvidia ripped. Went all the way to 190s, rejected at 190s, came right back down. Currently sitting at 187.50s or so. And yeah, guys, we'll see. We'll see. Again, Apple's another story of the day. Apple dropped drastically here down to 274s. Enough to where I bought Apple, right? I bought Apple a few days ago. We're very green in it as well. My average price is 255. So we got in around the low for Apple here. Look at my low. Look at my average. It's 255.63 is the exact average. So this is my entry on Apple. Right here. You love to see it. You love to see it. We'll see if it holds. But Apple rebounding a little bit here. Again, Amazon has done a very similar thing. We bought Amazon. I don't know when we bought it. We bought it at 197s. We bought Amazon. We did buy it at 197s. Man, we got a good entry on Amazon too. Amazon 197.57. So this is my entry on Amazon, basically right here. You love to see it. You love to see it. We took profit a little bit into the rip yesterday, but Amazon, Apple rebounding back, Nvidia bouncing back. Oh my gosh, somebody's rapping. Hold on. We already know everything. Don't think she's gonna move. AI will end natural intelligence. What will be the impact of jobless claims data? I'm not sure. I don't know how it's gonna move stuff. I really don't. We'll see. We got 40 minutes left. Again, Southern companies' customers include Meta, Microsoft, Google, and Compass. Again, Walmart posted Walmart only store sale comps excluding gas up 4.6% for Walmart. Still dropping down here. They see quarter one adjusted EPS guidance 63 to 65 cents. They expected 69 cents. So Walmart posted a little bit lower than expected quarter one guidance here for EPS. They see 27 net sales at a constant FX plus 3.5 to 4.5%. They see 2027 adjusted EPS, so longer term guidance 275 to 285. They expected 297. So again, weaker than expected future guidance here. They did announce a $30 billion share buyback plan. But You can see Walmart is not reacting well to this missed guidance numbers here. In Walmart all the way down to 122.70s. Not a huge drop, but enough to pull the NASDAQ down a little bit. Again, here's the NASDAQ. Take a look at the SPY. Again, Bitcoin's still looking rough. Bitcoin's at 66.5s right now, so it's actually dropped a little bit since the last time I looked at it this morning. Again, it's currently sitting at 66,500. Is it time to buy Bitcoin? Did I do a poll today? I did not. I did not do a poll. Is it time to buy Bitcoin? Here's the poll. Vote on it. We're going to keep it easy for this one. Is it time to buy Bitcoin? Again, Bitcoin's sitting at 66.5s right now, 66.5s. What will be the impact of jobless claims? I'm not sure. And again, the NASDAQ here, if you look at Quant Tower rejecting still at around, or not Quant Tower, NASDAQ rejecting still again at this level we had on our charts, 890 level or so, right around it. You could also say it's just 900 even. Look at the NASDAQ dip here though. NASDAQ falling down under the 200 EMA. Not a small pullback either. Let me make sure we don't have breaking news. There's around 5 firms considering US IG bond sales today, according to Bloomberg. Yeah, look at this drop on the NQ here. NASDAQ falling down. Not a huge drop, but Bitcoin does. Bye. Netflix is now technically green on the day. I might actually short this a little bit. And we'll add back to this as we rebound back up here is what I want. So I might add back to this as we make a move up to test the 200 EMA up here. All right, 65% say no, it's not time to buy Bitcoin. 35% say yes. If you disagree with that, vote on the poll. Bitcoin low 30s. Didn't really get a chance to add much to this. I wanted more. I'll see if we break down now. Kind of a small position here though. Add a little bit to this on the bounce. Hodl that short. I'll try. I'll probably kind of slowly cut it as we break down here. Bitcoin will get corrections, but all of Bitcoin's bear markets have dropped 70 to 90%. Buy oil stocks? Yeah, if you think there's troubles brewing in the Middle East, maybe it is. Oil's already up a lot though. Again, oil has already pushed up pretty substantially. Again, oil was at $55 a barrel not that long ago. It's currently at 66. So we're still in the short. We're gonna take another half off there. Too late to buy oil. Do you guys think it's too late to buy oil? Is it too late to buy oil, guys? Oil with 120 easy. Yeah, a lot of stuff's got to happen for that to happen. 120 is honestly too expensive for oil. We'll get a correction above 80K, then another drop. No, it's not time to buy oil. Scaling it as possible. Yeah, I mean, you can always average into it. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm really not, because oil, again, is elevated right now. Depends on what you think is going to happen in Iran. Just to summarize this, oil ripped to the highest level since the summer on fears the U.S. could launch a weeks-long military campaign against Iran, threatening supplies and potentially the Strait of Hormuz. J.D. Vance said Iran hasn't met the key U.S. demands in nuclear talks and stressed Trump is ready to use military force while the U.S. moves carriers into the region and they run drills and rocket launches near Hormuz, elevating the war risk premium in crude oil. Again, that's why it's up today at $66 a barrel. Again, if we get a partial export disruptions to a potentially full Hormuz choke point event, it could send oil sky high, 190s, $130 a barrel. Traders are betting on that, with current price action reflecting a rising probability of a conflict. So it depends on how significant the conflict is. But at the very least, we might see oil start to make some runs if things deteriorate in the Middle East in regards to good relationships. One constructive announcement regarding the situation in the Middle East, and you could have a better entry into oil. Yeah, I mean, I know, I agree with that for the most part. Actually, I think if you want to wait for a good entry, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not an investment professional. We're not liable if you lose money. Always make your own assessment. Trade smart. Nothing here is financial advice. But if you want a good entry, you can wait for stabilization talks. Yesterday we had a lot of them just from the Geneva talks, but I'm sure we'll probably get some good and bad rumblings from there sometime. So waiting for entries there, I think that makes sense. Gonna be shut down by a Girl Scout troop. Yeah, so we got out of our short. We made money on it. We got 30 minutes left. 30 minutes. 50,000 Bitcoin soon. I mean, I hope you're wrong, sir. I hope you're wrong. But Bitcoin has been falling. 66, under 66.5 now. 66.5 is right around this level here. Bitcoin. Hey, bud. Love you, dude. Good day, buddy. Yeah, Bitcoin at 66.5s right now. 66.5s. The mama pawn. People were asking for lower Bitcoin prices. Well, they got it. You know, they have it. Yeah, so we did get a statement yesterday regarding Paul Atkins, chairman of the SEC. Let me summarize this for you guys. Again, Bitcoin's still breaking down here, but we did get some news regarding Chair Atkins. Pearson Atkins say the SEC has pivoted towards real crypto rulemaking in coordination with the CFTC, ending regulation by enforcement and starting Project Crypto with roundtables, guidance, and no action relief on issues like custody, staking, tokenization, and stablecoins. They outline a coming agenda, a framework for when a crypto asset is an investment contract, and when it stops being one, an innovation exemption, to let limited trading of tokenized securities on new platforms, clear capital raising paths, custody rules for non-security crypto, including stablecoins, and updated transfer agent rules for blockchain, and more. So I can show you what I'm reading here. This is what I'm reading. Again, the innovation exemption, excuse me, is pitched as a modest temporary sandbox allowing tight volume cap trading of whitelist only tokenized securities in the AMMs or other on-chain venues, while some relief from legacy rules so the SEC can learn and then design a durable framework, not a free-for-all or overnight replacement of TradeFi. They highlight smart contract level compliance and privacy tech as ways to embed restrictions, improve issuer investor communications, and cut Bank Secrecy Act compliance costs while reducing mass financial surveillance. on the number go down. Atkins says regulators shouldn't care about crypto price swings, but about disclosures and functioning markets. Pierce criticizes critics, arguing value comes from building useful products, not for regulatory attempts to prop up prices. Both argue the SEC must be more welcoming so projects can issue tokens that explicitly are securities with real rights, stressing that developers should, quote, come in and talk to us and work with or around existing rules while the longer-term crypto security framework's being built. Again, this was yesterday. They're just kind of showing what the SEC might be doing in regards to crypto there. Again, NASDAQ's still breaking down. They got the price. They don't like the news. My support for Bitcoin 55s. Formed a bull flag with Bitcoin. What's up, Blaze? Hands off until after data, and we don't even know if we're going to get good data here that might move things. Again, the Federal Aviation Administration and the European Union Aviation Safety Agency approved simulator devices for Boeing airline pilot training. Simulations are coming out for pilot training, which I think is probably good. All right, so Americans aged 55 or older now represent 45% of all U.S. consumer spending, which is the highest level for that metric in at least 28 years. This is nearly double the 28% seen in early 2000s. Again, those 54 or younger are down to just 54.7%, 72% in 2000. So basically, old people spending more. Older people, my apologies. Anybody out there that might be older than 55? Older people are spending more. The gap between the two groups has narrowed by 35 percentage points over the last 25 years and is on track to converge for the first time in history. This comes as 73.7% of all U.S. wealth is held by those over 55, up from 56 in 2000. All right, Bitcoin's still falling, NASDAQ still dipping, oil still elevated. Gold and silver today, guys. Gold's still sitting right around $5,000 an ounce, right around 5K. Again, silver here. 77.50s here. 77.50s for silver. Yeah, if we take a look at the dollar index, silver under 70, right around 77.50s. The Dixie here is elevated on the day up to 97.9s. 97.9s. And again, just to put this into perspective, the dollar index usually goes up on more hawkish sentiment. You know, a Fed that's less eager to cut rates or hinting at possible rate hikes tends to push the dollar index higher because it lifts yields. And so you can kind of see the Dixie. Yesterday we had the Fed minutes report. They were a little bit more hawkish than expected, I think. But they were pretty data dependent, neutral. They even said we could raise rates if inflation gets sticky. At least some of them wanted that language and stuff. So again, you can see yesterday the dollar index pushed up. Stabilized a little bit this morning, then started pushing up again. The dollar index now up to 97.9s here. 97.9s. Look at Bitcoin, guys. Wow. Bitcoin down to 66.2s here. Bitcoin, again, fading down. Again, dollar index is probably going up because of the stuff going on in overseas oil and all that stuff. Not surprised aged 18 to 40 is net negative 13%. Round 3 of Clarity Act discussions. Yep. Okay, we're at 66,233 for Bitcoin here. Still falling down. Bitcoin's still falling. Morning, guys, still falling. Yep. 66,000, guys, which I do believe is a psychological level for Bitcoin right here. 66,000. Let's see if it holds. John, correct me if I'm wrong. If the dollar is going up, shouldn't the NASDAQ as well? Not necessarily. Sometimes you actually get the opposite. You get a situation where, I mean, you can get both. It's the Dixie being up can drag the NASDAQ sometimes, really. But it varies, to be honest. It's not, it depends on why. All right, guys, the NASDAQ dip did happen here. Again, jobless claims in about 21 minutes here, 21 minutes. Yeah, geopolitical tensions can raise it 100%, right? So you get things where dollar is being lifted by the hawkish Fed minutes or by the Iran stuff, by safe haven demand. Traders pricing in odds of a conflict. And again, if we look at betting markets, there's a 49% chance the U.S. strikes Iran by March 15th. And honestly, there's a lot of different stuff, odds on odds makers. %30 chance the U.S. strikes Iran before March. But look at the Dixie here. Dixie's flying up this morning. Again, safe haven demand, maybe. Again, oil elevated at 66 after U.S. tensions in Iran. Robinhood calls. Where's Robinhood at right now? Haven't looked at it. Again, it's getting hit by Bitcoin too. Bitcoin falling's worse for Robinhood. So that's something that you see with Robinhood. It's just getting beat up with Bitcoin. If we strike, how high could oil prices go? It depends, but they can go very high if we strike. So if we strike Iran, oil prices could spike significantly. So. Yeah, again, guys, so Amazon, Apple stock, Mag 7 stocks are kind of, I would say they're kind of red to flat today. Amazon is slightly red. Alphabet's slightly red. Apple's slightly red. I love you. Good day. Again, NASDAQ slightly red, although we've had a pretty good couple days in the NASDAQ and the S&P. Again, here is the S&P E-mini. If you look at like a 30-minute chart, last few days have been pretty good for the S&P. Here's the NASDAQ in the same light. Again, NASDAQ last few days since the Monday, Tuesday, this week have been pretty solid. Although we are pulling back some now. We can look at the Dow. The Dow Jones, it's performing a little bit worse because a lot of these rebounds are centered in microchips and AI. Again, Walmart reported earnings that influence markets here. And Walmart's starting to rebound back up here. Again, Walmart had worse guidance. Worse short-term and long-term guidance for Walmart. Slight beats in EPS and revenue, but not enough to really make people super optimistic. And worse guidance initially made Walmart stock fall But it's back at 123.70s. It's not down enough where I start to get interested in actually buying it, though, for Walmart. Let me see. Actually, it might be. It's had such a good year, though. It's not really a big pullback like I like. Like, this thing was at 95 to start the year. It's at 120s, 130s. So, it's just up so much in the last 12 months. I don't know if I can talk myself into buying that right now. Yeah, I'm seeing news that the left is threatening Paramount Warner Bros. Probe. Yeah, so a group of Democratic senators that are unhappy with Paramount CEO David Ellison's refusal to appear at a hearing 2 weeks ago over the viewing takeover of Warner Bros. Are increasing pressure here. They said Paramount's, and this is a quote here, it says Paramount's apparent confidence that a politically sensitive transaction will clear without difficulty warrants serious scrutiny, the senators wrote, end quote. This is Senator Schumer, Booker, Durbin, and more. So they can't currently hold up the sale. I don't think Paramount's winning this anyway, though, guys. You know, I think it's going to be Netflix. Maybe I'm biased, definitely biased. I'm in Netflix. I'd love the deal to go through. Even though maybe short term it might not have such a big impact as people think on the upside. But I don't think Paramount's getting it anyway. What happened? Why is the dollar index up? Dollar index is probably a little bit of safe haven outside from the Iran news, oil going up. Hawkishness in the Fed minutes report, all benefiting the dollar. Because less dovishness might make easing, which might cause inflation, which might devalue the dollar, is the logic. Hawkishness might maintain restriction, less stimulus, less inflation, prop up the dollar, if that makes sense. But again, it's also safe haven demand. Traders pricing in higher odds of a U.S.-Iran conflict and oil shocks. So. Let's say if jobless claims comes in higher than 222, around 230, that should make the gold go up, right? Yeah, I mean, it could. It's not that easy correlations there, but it could. It means higher jobless claims means more people filing for unemployment on a week-to-week perspective. The more people filing for unemployment could create gold safe haven demand as well. Could make the dollar index go up as well. But it's not a guarantee. Not a guarantee. It depends on how much over. Under 230, it's not a huge beat, but it's something, and so maybe it makes gold go up a little bit. We'll have to wait and see, though. Yeah, again, the big story is the U.S.-Iran worries oil spiking after being down for a significant period of time. So that's the big worries right now. We get a U.S.-Iran conflict, making people nervous. I don't understand why people assume Bitcoin will go back up. I think they're looking at the 4-year cycle most of the time. There's a few reasons people think Bitcoin's going up. Number one, just based off of utility, blockchain, incredibly useful. Bitcoin's the alpha of all that stuff. Number two, finite amount of them that can ultimately be mined should create supply and demand, you know, price increases over time. Potentially, I don't know for sure. I hope it happens, but I don't know. And more. So. Did tech rebound yet? It rebounded a little bit here. Look at the NASDAQ still falling. I should have held that short. The short was right. Again, we have 13 minutes, 14 minutes until jobless claims unemployment filings go live. We also have Philly Fed index data here, guys. So we also have Philly Fed index data. Philly Fed index data is expected, again, at 7.5. Last time was 12.6. This is for February. Again, Philly Fed. We also have the Philly Fed CAPEX index. So again, we'll see what manufacturing shows for February. Again, we've had a lot of increases in PMI data. So So we've had a lot of increases in manufacturing and services PMI over the last few minutes. Bitcoin pulling back a little bit now after rebounding slightly from that dip it made. All right, guys, here we go. NASDAQ still fading. Again, dollar index pushing up. Oil elevated on the day. And again, we're heading into a data release. Combination of AI agents and crypto is certainly an interesting one. Why do jobless claims matter if they're going to revise down when no one's paying attention? Jobless claims don't really get revised as much as like payrolls, I would argue. Payrolls get revised. Jobless claims sometimes do, but they don't get revised at the level that we see payrolls, payroll revisions. It's just not the same. Again, I cover all the major data here. That's kind of what my channel is versus a lot, like I cover all the major data. But jobless claims, they get revised less. They still get revised, but it's usually smaller revisions and less revisions. Payrolls, that's a different story completely. We get bad job numbers, it could be a really red day. I don't know if jobless claims, jobless claims is relevant because it's a weekly unemployment report. So when a lot of this other data is delayed, jobless claims is last week's unemployment claims data. So it's more real time. See what the labor market's actually doing. And again, this is in the wake of payrolls last week on Friday showing 130,000. Jolts prior to that showing weaker than expected data. ADP data showing weaker than expected, and more. So a lot of jobs data has shown up weak, and then we had payroll show up stronger than expected on on Wednesday, and then inflation data showing up lower than expected, showing easing potential inflation. And so then now big question mark is, what does the job market actually look like? If we get reasonable job numbers, obviously it might push yields a little bit higher. If we get weak job numbers, it could mean earlier cuts. It just depends. Again, we got a lot of data coming out. PCE inflation data tomorrow is going to be relevant. And again, I believe core PCE is expected around 3% tomorrow. On the month, I think both core and headline expected at 0.3. So if we're talking about core PCE, which is the most important PCE print, 3% is what's expected tomorrow. 3%. Robinhood will be a buy at some point. Well, yeah, eventually. Just not sure how low it goes. Yeah, Robinhood, what they needed to do, which they eventually did, is they pivoted into a higher, more advanced platform. And they needed to. So. All right, guys. Let's see what jobless claims give us here. Again, jobless claims, unemployment claims going live 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. We have about 8 minutes left. We also have Philly Fed data. Again, Philly Fed data expected at 7.5, I believe. Last time it showed up at 12.6. Previous jobless claims numbers were 227,000. The time before that, I believe they were higher as well. They were like 230s the time before that. And so the last time they showed up a little bit higher than expected. The time before that, they showed up noticeably higher. Also, Bostic should be speaking sometime soon here. But at the very least, Michelle Bowman, which is usually a dovish person, is going to be speaking at 8:30 as well. They're going to start speaking at 8:30. So we got some things that might move markets. NASDAQ has been in a downward trend this morning so far. Monthly options expire tomorrow. Yeah, again, Bitcoin might be testing 66,000 soon. Here's Bitcoin right here. It might be testing 66,000. And it keeps dropping here. Yeah, we got about 7 minutes left, chat. Again, Alphabet, Google stock down to 302s here. 302s. Yeah, I've heard so many predictions regarding the bottom of Bitcoin. I've heard 30, 40s, 50s, 60s. And I don't know where it is. I know we bounced right off of 60 earlier. Look at oil still spiking here, guys, at 66.20s. Right now, 66.20s about to test the high of the day for crude. Just broke it. 66.30s now the high of the day for crude. So crude did just break highs of the day. Again, Amazon is overtaking Walmart as the world's top revenue company. Amazon has surpassed Walmart to become the world's largest company by revenue. They reported $716.9 billion 2025 net sales, edging past Walmart's $713.5 billion for the year ending January 31st. Revenue rose 12% year over year compared to Walmart's 4.7% growth. Walmart has held that top spot since 2014. 2014. So Amazon now basically the king of retail. I'm in Amazon. Hopefully this is making it go up. It's not really, but we're so green over the last few days, it doesn't matter. One tweet's all it takes. I think Bostic started speaking about 4 minutes ago. Yeah, I'm trying to see. Yeah, so I mean, Bostic's delivering opening remarks in the Next Horizon in Banking, hosted by the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta. 10-minute speech. I don't see any of his remarks now, though. And again, that means it's probably not going to move markets. Anything that usually moves markets usually reported. Again, Bobin speaks in 5. Again, oil testing highs of the day again at 66.30s right now, 66.30s. NASDAQ just broke lows of the day. 24.8s for the NQ. Yeah, definitely lows of the day here. So NASDAQ just cracked lows, leading into jobless claims unemployment in about 4 minutes. We get higher or lower claims today, guys. We asked people, is it time to buy Bitcoin? 59% say no, 41% say yes. I'll just ask, are you bullish or bearish on the jobless claims report? Again, you can vote on that poll now. Are you bullish or bearish on the jobless claims report? We have 4 minutes left. 2:30. Again, bulls are currently winning, but it's pretty split down the middle, honestly. Bear, higher, going down. I should have held that short, guys. I should have held. The Walmart CFO just says it's important to start the year with conservative guidance according to a conference call. Trying to essentially qualm some of these worries from weaker guidance, short-term and long-term. So again, Walmart CFO says it's important to start the year with conservative guidance according to a conference call. Again, jobless claims unemployment. All right, again, we got initial claims in 3 minutes dropping. Let's see what happens here. We get initial claims expected at 222,000. Continuing claims are expected today Continuing claims are expected today at 1.86 million. Previous was 1.862 million. Again, we got about 2.5 minutes. Again, they're expected about 1.86. Previously 1.862 million. Here we go. We got 2 minutes left. 2 minutes. I'm going to put it in sub-only mode, guys. Everybody hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. Show your support. Hit the sub button. We now are in subscribe-only mode. Hardly no jobs. What's your projection? You were spot on with inflation. I was. I got CPI inflation exactly right. Exactly right. You're welcome. You'll never hear the end of it. Jobless claims is a little bit too varied, though, in what it shows up as. So it's not as easy to guess. My point. All right, guys, we got a minute left until jobless claims. Again, 222 expected, 227 last time. 1 minute. Again, we have Bowman speaking at 8:30, imports dropping, initial jobless claims dropping, Philly Fed index dropping, and more. And then Kashkari speaking at 9 o'clock. So again, we have balance of trade data, Bowman, jobless claims, Philly Fed index data dropping in less than a minute now, guys. Less than a minute. Oil's popping. NASDAQ is falling over the last 30 minutes or so. You get jobless claims expected at 222,000. Again, this might not move markets. I don't know. I'm definitely the top 3 CPI guesser, though, for sure. I would say I'm top 1. Out of all the other ones, I'm top 1. You know, 275 would cause a freak out, I would think. You never know. All right, 15 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed, guys. I appreciate the love. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. 5 seconds here. 5 seconds. Here we go. Jobless claims showed up at good trade balance. 206,000. Way lower than expected at 206,000 for jobless claims. Continuing claims showed up at 1.869 million. 1.869 million for continuing claims. And again, 200, what was it? 203? 206,000. Again, jobless claims is out. 206K versus expected 222,000. They also revised the last one up to 229K. But they did revise the last one. So 206,000. Look at the NASDAQ fall here. The Philly Fed index ended up showing 16.3, way stronger manufacturing index data from Philly Fed data than expected versus 7.5. 16.3 versus 7.5. Better than expected manufacturing data, lower than expected unemployment claims, so stronger labor. Continuing claims are a little bit weaker than expected. And again, we do have Bowman speaking soon. NASDAQ is down on this report. Again, I'll put this data up on screen here, but the NASDAQ is down. Imports, again, I'm showing the trade balance data showed negative 98, which means that we are importing much more than we're exporting. 98.5 billion for the good trades balance for December versus negative 86 expected. So it means we're importing a little bit more than expected there. But again, jobless claims, 206K versus expected 222. Previous was 229, revised from 227. So higher revisions here for jobless claims numbers. But again, I'll put this data up on screen. Again, 227. Again, that's the data right there on screen. It's stronger than expected jobless numbers. Oil spiking up on this. The NASDAQ did react negatively to this report. Again, so we showed essentially what we showed here for the data today. Stronger jobs. Less people filing for unemployment week to week initial claims. Higher than expected continuing claims, though, at 1.869 million versus 1.86 million expected. So a little bit higher than expected. They revised it down last time, though, for continuing claims. From 1.862 million down to 1.852 million. Again, import-export data, trade balance data showed more imports than expected, and the Philly Fed index showed strength in manufacturing. So that is basically the data today. Strength in manufacturing, stronger jobs. What do you guys think of this data? Again, trade balance data. More imports than expected versus exports. Philly Fed data 16.3 versus expected 7.5. So more than double what they expected here for manufacturing index data. Again, 16.3 versus 8.5, 7.5 expected. Again, Philly Fed business conditions for February showed up at 42.8 versus 25.5 previously. And yeah, the Fed CAPEX index showed up at 14.4 versus 30.3. Philly Fed CAPEX index. Bowman does not comment on monetary policy or economic outlook in prepared remarks. So again, Bowman's not going to be speaking on economic outlook. Again, jobless claims cooling a little bit. 206 versus 225, 222 expected. Again, so cooling here in jobless claims numbers here. We showed cooling. L for rates, good for America. Yeah, I mean, this is going to make yields spike, right? I don't even have to look at yields to understand this. I mean, sometimes I say that and we actually do the opposite. Why is my computer freezing? Listen, I like Quant Tower a lot, but I need to exit out of Quant Tower. Well, we're back. Shout out to... I like Quant Tower a lot. Let me make sure we're back. Yeah, we're back. I like Quant Tower a lot, but Quant Tower freaking eats memory here, bro. I got 32 gigs of memory. You know? Ridiculous, bro. Ridiculous. But we're back. The show must go on, so we're back. Data came so hot, the stream dropped. Maybe that's what happened here. Again, I don't necessarily like toss either. This weird background. But give me a second. I'll get everything back up and running here. We're back. Bro, Quant Tower just eats freaking memory, dude. It's also probably the stupid forced Windows updates, honestly. Again, look at Bitcoin right now, guys. So Bitcoin actually starting to bounce up a little bit on this report. But you don't love to see it. You don't love to see it. Again, Bitcoin starting to bounce up. It completely reset the jobless claims data. Jobless claims data came out. There we go. We're back. All right, cool. You're back, but Bitcoin is it? You may want to remove that timer. Yeah, I see it now. Hold on. It reset everything. I did this Windows update, and it's been putting like a bunch of calculators up as I do it here. Look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin rebounding a little bit. Let me get toss up. Really what it is, I think it's Quant Tower. Quant Tower. I have Quant Tower, toss, and more up. So I probably just got a bunch of stuff up here. Yeah, the problem with Quant Tower, it just uses a lot of CPU or GPU. Give me a second. We'll get some music going. John is a glitch in the system. Hey, we're here, bro. We're here. Again, Bitcoin falling back down here, almost at 66,000. But honestly, I did this latest update with Windows. And I thought I was blocking Windows updates. Let me make sure. Windows update settings. Take a look at. Yeah, here's Silver right now. But you good old Windows forcing an update every week and then breaking your computer. Yeah, dude, my computer sucks right now. Again, look at the NASDAQ. Silver back up to 78s here. It looks like the NASDAQ is starting to bounce back up. Look at this 24,800 level. We bounced directly off of it. We're at the 200 exponential right now. I would short it. I'm just worried. Silver and gold are prepared to take off. What are you doing? I don't know. I don't know what we're doing with silver and gold. At least we were here to cover the... I'd much rather this happen after the economic data drops versus before it. Bowman's not saying anything on monetary policy that I know of. So Bowman's not saying anything on monetary policy. Again, jobless claims showed up lower than expected, showed stronger jobs than expected here. Again, I'm sure yields are probably higher, right? Yeah, yields are up to 4.1 plus. Again, here's yields. Over 4.1%. They have increased some. Not only over the last 48 hours, but you can see they recently increased here as well from the jobless claims unemployment report showing stronger jobs than expected. And I did make some on my account yesterday. Again, remember, guys, you want to help support the channel. These are affiliates of mine, so I'm biased. Check out Apex. Check out Take Profit Trader. I think Apex is still doing 90% off right now. You can use promo code BG at checkout. Help support your boy here. Take Profit Trader, you get 40% off. No activation fees on Take Profit Trader. And that's really what I've been trading here is Take Profit. Again, no activation fees. 40% off right now. Use promo code BG for both of them. And help support the channel here. Again, they are affiliates of mine. I am biased. Again, if you want to check out Take Profit, here is the affiliate link. Again, promo code BG. Beginner or Baby Gangster, whatever you want to do it. But you can use promo code BG for both Apex and Take Profit. Again, here's that link. I'll put it up. Appreciate the love. Let me actually reset this. Hold on. Let me remove this. There you go. There's the code. There's the link if you want to check it out. John was the 5th hot boy? I was. Listen. My block was hot. That's all I'm saying. Okay, guys. So I'm seeing some Middle Eastern news come out. I see the U.S. is sending 6 airborne warning and control systems, AWACS, planes to the Middle East out of the 16 aircraft in the U.S. military, according to news reports. Again, U.S. is sending 6 airborne warning and control systems planes to the Middle East out of the 16 aircraft in the U.S. military, according to news reports. Yeah, Bitcoin, guys, stronger labor is pushing Bitcoin down here. Look at Bitcoin drop. Now, under 66,000. It's at 65s again for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is falling. For those that don't understand the BG joke, BG was a rapper from New Orleans. Part of the Hot Boys. You know, anybody from Louisiana knows, unless you're too young, and then you might not know. But it stands for beginner, guys. BG stands for beginner. You're welcome. All right, listen, when you sign up to one of these platforms, again, I want you to remember this face right here, staring at you, reminding you to use my code, BG. You're welcome. Look at Bitcoin down to 65,900s here, 65,900s. He did. Checkerboard. He did, man. I felt bad for him. You know, I felt bad for him as he got older. I think one part of it is the market was expecting another rate cut, and now that isn't likely to happen. Yeah, I mean, look, tomorrow we have PCE inflation and GDP data. These could move odds substantially. Again, jobless claims important. But again, we do see the odds up to 6% for a rate cut. But again, tomorrow's data, GDP and PCE data, will probably have a bigger influence on rate paths moving forward than today's jobless claims report. Now, we could still see some stuff move today from this report. That 200 exponential is rejecting here on the NASDAQ. Beginner is one word. Robs, leave me alone. Listen, if I want to make it 2 words, I will. NASDAQ, again, still fading back down here. Yeah, geopolitical stuff. No, I'm no longer with Top Step. They're getting into stuff that requires more regulation, and so because of that, you know, I have nothing against them. Cheers to them. You know, they're good people over there. Again, NASDAQ break it down at 24,830s, 24,830s. I should have shorted this, guys. Look at this drop right now. Again, jobless claims cooled. Oil. Let's take a look at oil. Silver up to 78. Oil 66.50. Hit 66.57s here. Again, this comes after news the U.S. is sending 6 airborne warning and control system planes to the Middle East out of the 16 aircrafts in the U.S. military, according to news reports. Or tensions potentially there. Again, so Bowman didn't speak on economic or monetary policy. RBC apparently sees solid quarter ahead for NVIDIA and reiterates the $240 price target. They reiterated an outperform rating and 240 price target on NVIDIA, forecasting a stronger quarterly earnings report next week on Wednesday. They expect a beat and raise scenario of 3-4%, while potential upside to NVIDIA's previously cited $500 billion 25-26 backlog. Gross margins are seen as resilient despite rising memory, as 26 HBM pricing is believed to be locked in. Again, yields are up after data. Yield on 10-year treasury lasts up 2.1 basis points, 2.1. God will not be regulated. Yeah, jobless claims are out. They might be in the big banner, the big red banner in the bottom left. Thank you, Dominique. I appreciate you. There. Kind of moot, no, with the Fed share coming in. Well, it's not moot. They need justification for whatever they do. Bitcoin will dump so hard. Yeah, Bitcoin's down because Bitcoin wants easing, guys. The Bitcoin wants easing, and stronger jobs numbers mean what? It means less potential easing. Now, if we look at rate odds, they're still looking pretty likely that we are not going to do anything to rates next month in March. April, again, it's not really looking like we're going to change rates either. April, still 80+% chance that we pause rates in April. June is when we start to see the odds go up 40, let's see, about 60% chance we cut rates 25 basis points by April. About a 60% chance we cut rates 25 basis points by April. At least 25 basis points by April, I should say. The IEA director says there's significant oil supply in markets creating comfortable conditions. I have 96 gigs of RAM, DDR5. So you have 4 chips? Or 4 RAM sticks? I hear that causes instability. Again, IEA Director Faith says OPEC can do what it wants on March 1st, but we'll see that demand growth is less than 1 million barrels per day. Again, the CME Group is going to launch 24/7 crypto trading by May 29th. It'll begin 24/7 trading of its regulatory cryptocurrency futures and options on May 29th, pending regulatory approval. Again, crude is hitting its highest level since August on fears of potential US-Iran conflict. Again, the trade deficit widened 70.3 billion in December, pushing the full year gap to 901.5 billion, one of the largest since 1960. Imports rose 3.6, exports fell 1.7. Bitcoin's still falling, guys, down to 65.7s on the stronger jobs data that we saw. All right, I'm actually going to enter short here. And again, I'm on a platform called Tradeovate on Take Profit Trader. It makes sense if you want to learn to day trade. Do not fund your own account thousands of dollars. Most day traders lose money. They really do. Most day traders lose. Doesn't matter what course you take, who you follow in the beginning, you're probably going to lose money as a day trader. So it makes no sense to fund your own account thousands of dollars just to lose it. Instead, you could use a prop firm. Again, they're an affiliate of mine. I'm biased, but they give you a demo. The base one here is 25K. Again, you can get 40% off if you use my promo code BG. And if you fail, they challenge you with a demo account. If you pass the challenge, you know they fund you. If you fail, you only lose what you pay for it. And there's no activation fees on Take Profit as well. So it just makes sense to learn that way in a structured environment with some risk. Not the full extent of risk that you would take funding your own account thousands of dollars. And again, probably losing it. Because most day traders lose. But still, understand all this stuff on screen. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose money. Always make your own assessment and trade smart. I can't guarantee anything. But again, you can check out my link. You can check out the link in the description. Speaking of losing, I am down on this day trade. We got a big bounce here. I'm going to add one more to it and then leave it. We got to push back down. Might cut some of my size here, risk management. But we'll get about half the size we previously had. Again, CME Group going to launch 24/7 crypto futures and options on May 29th. And if you want to check out the prop firm I talk about, you use Take Profit here. Both of them have sales going on right now. You can see the pin link, the link pinned at the top of the chat. It's probably easier. I'm trying to give this some time here to trade though. I'll come back to this. Will we get breakdowns here? Nasdaq right at the 200 exponential, so I don't hate a short, but I also don't like it enough to take some size into this. Longer short right here, guys. Longer short. What do you guys think? What am I down on the day? I'm down about $60. Gotta take some risk here though, so we keep testing this 200 EMA. Maybe I'll jump back in bigger. Right, so we're now testing the 200 EMA. That's not getting over it though. So look, we're at 24,875s right now. All right, Nasdaq is starting to rip up here. So we are starting to pop right now. Palantir merging with Pepsi. You gotta just be making up stuff now, huh? All right, so I did jump in short a little bit here. I kind of averaged in though. What do we want? Another Take some lock-in profits here. We're gonna be up big on the day now, but I want to liquidate a lot of this. I'll hold the rest pretty close to break even, I think. The UK is reportedly blocking the US from using bases for strikes on Iran, according to a UK press. Not really liking how this is looking here, so I'm gonna take half of this off. We're still green on the day, but I'm gonna get ready to hold this break even and cut it if it starts pushing up. I could probably give it a little bit more time though. Nice, doesn't break down. That off. All right, so the breakdown worked here. It's struggling to really break under this though. So we're up about 300 on the day. I got a feeling crypto is going to go slowly. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin, again, under 66,000. It has rebounded a little bit here. Again, so it has rebounded back up some. Gonna get Nasdaq still fading down a little bit here under the 200 EMA. Oil dripped down to $66 a barrel, back up to 66.40s. Again, the UK has not yet given permission on US using RAF bases, according to the Times. Maybe oil pricing that in markets. Again, guys, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. I should have held that short. And again, we're going to day trade live at the open today, guys, so stick around. Trade deficit was horrible. Yeah, definitely more imports showing now. And again, in terms of manufacturing, obviously we want to export more than we import, and so with the trade balance data more skewed towards imports, it wasn't good as well. I think that negatively affected things because again, lately we've seen some optimistic manufacturing data, but yeah, trade balance data was noticeably more imports than expected versus exports. The ratio. Did eBay have good earnings? It looks like it. Traders interpreted it as good. It could just be up on retail strength as well. Was eBay earnings today? Let me see. I don't know why eBay's up. Maybe it was yesterday for eBay. Yeah, it looks like it was yesterday. Markets are reacting well to it. Tom Lee put a bottom call out for the S&P 500. Please stop showing us the Bitcoin chart. I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry. It's breaking news. It's breaking news. All right, chat. We got 30 minutes until the market opens. Let's see what we get. 30 minutes. We have this kind of McDonald's sign pattern here on the NASDAQ. I'm curious to see what we do. Again, oil elevated after U.S.-Iran tensions, but dipped a little bit after the UK hasn't granted permission for the U.S. to use some of their RAF bases. Super micro ripping. Yeah, super micro is up big. $31 a share. Is this earnings? I don't think so, right? Super micro had earnings a couple weeks ago. Nvidia is partnering with SMCI. So Nvidia partnership for Supermicro, boosting it to over 30s. Nvidia is still down on the day. It's at 187s. Almost as reliable as Bart Simpson. Yeah, I mean, yesterday we actually did get a Bart Simpson pattern. Here, look, here it is right here. So yesterday, Bart Simpson. Close enough. Got an ear here. So. I'm gonna sell this right now. This is artwork right here. I'm gonna sell this. Scalped a few points, not much. Try not to trade a lot in pre-market. Have some good pre-markets, but a lot of times I'll be behind going into the opening. Catch up. Got out of the second trade. I should be back, my good peeps. Hey, good luck, buddy. Bitcoin can be bought, but can it be shorted? Yes. Yes. I mean, you get a lot of perpetual shorts. You get a lot of, there's ways to short it for sure. You short Bitcoin futures. Like, there's a lot of ways to short Bitcoin. But historically, I know there's a bunch of people that made some shorts that did not come out doing too hot from them. One of the, was it a Gareth whatever, shorted it at like 30K or something like that. So I'm not a big, like, I'm not super interested. I think the only way to really short Bitcoin, if you're going to short it, and again, I'm not shorting it. Bitcoin bulls, don't get mad, I'm not shorting Bitcoin. The only way I could really think about doing it would be if I think we're going to get much more hawkish, restrictive monetary policy and sentiment going forward, then I can take a Bitcoin short leading into that and assume Bitcoin negatively reacts, as it did today to the jobless claims numbers here. You know, so if you're good at predicting those things, again, jobless claims numbers push Bitcoin back down. It's now at 65s as I speak here, 65,000s. So again, I'm not recommending you do that. I'm not telling you to do it. Again, guys, I'm not telling you guys to do this. I just like teaching here. You know, I just like helping people. I don't do this because I make money. Who needs money? I'm here out of the kindness of my heart to help you guys learn for free. You know, you're welcome. But with that said, if you want to check out one of our sponsors or affiliates, check them out right now. You can get 40% off Take Profit, promo code BG. You know, you get 90% off Apex right now, promo code BG. Learn to day trade with less risk. I'm biased. I get paid by them. So, cheers to them. The claim showed up at 206,000 versus expected 222, 225,000. So lower than expected, less people filing for unemployment than expected here. Yeah, Bitcoin still breaking down. The Nasdaq's also looking kind of weak here heading into the opening bell in 25 minutes. It's out at 24,830s. So looking a little weak here. I don't even know what money is. What is money? I don't know. I definitely don't spend hours of my day every single day on stream to make money. Why would I? I mean, sheesh, guys, you know. Who needs money? Of course I'm here to make money. I mean, just not to break the sarcasm, but everybody here's to make money. Anybody claiming to be doing this out of the kindness of their heart, they just like teaching and helping people. Get the heck out of here, bro. No, you don't. You're here to make money. Stop lying to people. You know? Anyways, NASDAQ down 24,800s. Not us, we're all unemployed. I thought y'all were all 6'5" billionaires in chat. I mean, that's what I assumed when I read a lot of y'all's comments. I thought y'all were 6'5" billionaires. You know? And listen, like I said, as a 7-foot-tall trillionaire, I get it. I understand. You know? Look at Nvidia, guys. Nvidia is what's dragging the market down. Nvidia at 186.60s here. 186.60s. All right, we're at 186.60s here, guys. I'm from Louisiana. We say you know a lot. I don't know if you've ever met somebody from New Orleans, but it's a common part of our speech. You know? Don't judge me. Regarding the UK refusing the president is using RAF bases to launch strikes for yet another illegal war. Maybe you shouldn't go. Yeah, I mean, that's nuanced. Are y'all talking about my water bill again? Hold on, let's see what it is. Check out my water bill. Who's got the over under 700? You're from Louisiana, so you're thin? No, you're thinking of like Arkansas. Louisiana's kind of the opposite. Again, we have 23 minutes, 22 minutes left. Yeah, so whoever voted for the under on my water bill was correct. My water bill, guys, was only $455 for February. So, you took the under 700. You were right. You don't win anything. Again, Intel breaking down right now as well. Look at Intel here. 45s. This is actually pretty cheap for my water bill, to be honest. You know. Oh, the power bill. Y'all don't even want to see my power bills. Again, look at Intel break it down. Nvidia did a little dip here as well. We're at 186.80s. Again, so Senator Warren has sent a letter to Feds Bowman requesting information regarding banking oversight alterations and the plan for a new SVB report, according to the Wall Street Journal. Again, yields are up from the unemployment claims coming in, showing more stability in the labor market than expected, pushing yields higher. And remember, yields and interest rates follow each other, so yields are up to almost 4.1% right now on stronger yields. Hey, thank you, Ozzy. My friend, thank you, sir, for becoming a member. What's your ballpark exit price for Nike? What am I in Nike at? I am in Nike at 57s. It's at 65s. I don't know. I might just hold Nike for a little while. I don't know how long. It seems like I got a relatively cheap entry, so I might just sit on it. Yeah, Nike pays a 41-cent quarterly dividend too, so I might just sit on that. Again, so I'm going to do another poll here. We got 900 plus votes. Are you bullish or bearish for today's open? What do you think about Bitcoin? I think Bitcoin wants easing, and the latest jobs data shows less easing, so Bitcoin's been falling down among a bunch of other reasons for Bitcoin dropping. Just fear, uncertainty, potential 4-year cycle dips. Like, yeah, I think. I mean, Bitcoin short term I think is volatile. I think long term is probably going to be fine. Short term, it's volatile. Be careful. Not an investment professional. Not liable if you lose money. Yeah, my water bill's high because, you know, I call my wife the plant murderer. She goes and buys a bunch of plants, sets up these complex irrigation systems, and then just kind of abandons it after like a couple weeks. You know, we had a literal geyser in my front yard. The neighbors texted us the other day, like a while back actually, and they said, "Hey, we see a geyser in your backyard," and we thought they were exaggerating it. We look at our backyard, we got like 3 or 4 feet of water just shooting up out of the sky, or out of the ground. Apparently one of Carol's irrigation things, something happened to it, and that's why, you know, my water bill's high because of that. I'm scared to see what it's gonna look like during the summer, to be honest, but hey, the life I live. Yeah, we kind of slowed down a little bit, guys, so I'm kind of just chatting and hanging out with you. Again, NASDAQ's a little quiet. We've been sideways. Not the smallest range, though, but we've been sideways most of this morning on the NASDAQ. Most of this morning. I'm watching microchips at the open. I'm definitely watching oil. We'll see how they perform. We've had a little bit of a rebound over the last few days in microchips like Apple, Amazon, NVIDIA, AI and microchips, I should say. Tech and microchips. So we'll see what happens at the opening bell. I believe we have another Fed speaker. Let me make sure. And again, this is leading into PCE and GDP data tomorrow. So, Goolsby speaks at 10:30. Kashkari speaks at 9 a.m., which is now. I don't see any quotes from him, though. France says Board of Peace should be recentered on Gaza in line with UN Security Council resolution, according to the Foreign Ministry spokesperson. Jim Cramer says Walmart. He actually spelled it wrong. Jim Cramer just said this, guys. Walmart is so good. End quote. Jim Cramer. Again, we also had news earlier that the UK is blocking the president from using their bases for potential strikes overseas in the Middle East. UK-US tensions are still going up. Block is owing to concerns that it would be a breach of international law. The president has withdrawn support for Starmer's island deals, and the White House is still reportedly preparing detailed plans for a strike. So again, oil prices are up to 6-month highs ahead of the opening bell. Here's oil, but they are dipping down some here at 66.10s now. Bearish day. We did a poll, bear or bull. The Bears are in control today, 59% bearish. Heading into the opening bell in 15 minutes, 59% bearish today. Again, we had the Fed minutes report yesterday, showed a little bit more hawkish sentiment than expected, but still pretty data dependent and neutral. No one's committing to rate cuts anytime soon, I think, and I do not think we're going to cut rates next month in March. I think we're going to pause the rates. The only way we would cut rates again is if we have really weak labor data consistently showing deteriorating labor and jobs. as well as low inflation data. And again, tomorrow we'll see what quarter 4 GDP looks like. It's expected at 2.5% for quarter 4 initial estimate GDP data. And we also have PCE inflation, core PCE expected at 3% tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. My water bill is $18 a month in Ozark, Missouri. I wish mine was. I genuinely do. Again, my power bill is worse. Walmart actually just went green on the day. The Walmart up to 128. And again, Walmart posted earnings this morning in retail. Slightly better than expected EPS, basically flat EPS. Slightly better than expected revenue. But the problem with Walmart is the guidance. This report. Guidance numbers for Walmart, short and long term, were lower than the previous estimates. So they lowered their guidance. This initially made Walmart go down, although they have rebounded back up on maybe the CEO talking. The CFO did say it's important to start the year with conservative guidance according to the conference call. So that's essentially what's going on with Walmart. And that's what Jim Cramer's talking about here is Walmart's numbers. Again, Kashkari is now speaking. He said the Fed is close on both mandates and rates are pretty close to neutral here for Kashkari. So this is what Kashkari just said. You can read it in the big red letters. He said the Fed is close to both mandates and rates are pretty close to neutral. He says the labor market has remained pretty resilient. It is softer, but still decent to pretty good. You guys agree with him? Let me know. Kramer is right, though. I don't necessarily... Let me see. When did he say this? Kramer said this about Walmart is good at 10 minutes ago. 10 minutes. So Kramer said this only about right here. So Kramer said this here. So it's still too early to say whether Kramer was correct or not. Again, the opening bell will show us regarding Walmart. Again, Kashkari says the Fed is close on both mandates and rates are pretty close to neutral. Labor market has remained resilient. It is softer, but still pretty decent to pretty good. Your wife's a genius. Is it hydroponics? No. We actually have an 8-foot tall sugarcane plant in our backyard. It's mostly vegetables, like tomatoes. Yeah. All right, guys, 12 minutes into the opening bell. Let's see what we get. We're already up a pretty significant amount on the day. We're going to see if we can keep pushing here. But again, jobless claims lower than expected, 206 versus 222 expected. So better jobs. Yeah, the dollar is still spiking up here. It's at $98 an ounce. I don't know what. I'm so used to talking about gold and silver. It's at $98 for the dollar index. $98. I said 12 minutes, not 20. Maybe I said 20. I don't know. Mama Pawn wants to do a garden along the back side of the house. Yeah, I always try to tell Kira, look, do flowers. And again, yields are up a little bit after this report goes live. After this report went live at 8:30. $48 PE ratio, Amazon 27. Yeah, and Amazon's not the leader of retail. They grew more year over year and had the highest revenue, I think, year over year versus Walmart. So why is this month so choppy for markets? I don't know if I'd call it choppy. Here's February. Now this is basically February. I don't know if I'd call this choppy. This is up, down. The VIX was over 20s. You know, this is downward trending market, really, is what it looks like. Again, we're moving up and down big amounts. There's a lot of news coming out, pushing things in both directions. It's also, yeah, the beginning of the year. We're after the holiday volatility. Holiday volatility is over. So. Yeah, gold and silver runs. Gold now slightly under $5,000 an ounce. Here's gold here. So slightly under 5K an ounce. Here we get. Opening bell in 8 minutes. Looking at our poll, we asked people, are you bullish or bearish? Bears are up 55% voting bearish, 46% voting bullish. Palantir might benefit from it. Again, Palantir's down on the day with everything else. It's kind of up on the tech resurgence over the last few days, but down today specifically. Charts look like dog poop. But Netanyahu says we're working in lockstep with the United States. Here's oil. Again, oil hit 66.50s earlier. Fully back, but oil's been riding that 200 EMA really clean here. Look at the 200 exponential on a 1 minute chart. In here. So, see if the 200 EMA props it up. It's testing it now. It actually just dipped below it though. So, see if it holds down. Alphabet, a lot of tech is down today, but it's not down enough to be super worried, I think. Again, Bitcoin's retesting 66,000 here. So Bitcoin's trying to get back higher as well. Kashkari says Hassett comments on study undermine Fed's independence. When his comments about the Fed staff research were just another step to try to compromise the Fed's independence, he says. Kashkari still speaking. Here's the NASDAQ. It's back over the 200 exponential moving average here. We got 5 minutes until the opening bell, guys. Yeah, bullish or bearish open today. Again, 54% are bearish, 46% are bullish out of about 250 votes. I don't necessarily think the market looks good, though. Yeah, we're at 66,107 here on oil, or $66 a barrel here. Still at the 200 exponential, pushed over it for a slight second. Bitcoin's right at 66K. Again, here's Bitcoin right here. It's right at 66,000. 66,000 on Bitcoin is maybe a psychological level. At least on the day, maybe. 6K right here. Nasdaq back under the 200 exponential again with 4 minutes left. Still flat. U.S. culture is weird. Parents kick kids out at 18, don't care about it. Yeah, I mean, I agree. And this is what I tell my kids. Like, I tell both of my kids, you can live here as long as you want, as long as you're doing the right things. I think the problem, though, is like a lot of 18-year-olds don't do the right things. And so it depends on that dynamic, I think, as well. But if they're doing the right things, they're going to school, they're making good decisions. I always tell my kids you can live here within reason after you turn 18, you know. Within reason. All right, Nasdaq flushing back down again ahead of the opening bell. Again, we have 3 minutes left. Nasdaq now dipping down. It's at 24,840s here. Again, Kashkari is still speaking. He said the Fed is cautious about using AI internally with strong guardrails against giving access to confidential data. AI could be a boost to productivity in the next 5 to 10 years. And he says crypto is utterly useless. Says still optimistic about AI. Almost all businesses are finding benefits from using it. Committed to making the best decisions based on data and analysis. Aim to avoid other distractions. Again, the Nasdaq is dumping down. This might be the market on open data here. But the bears showing up about 2 minutes into ahead of the opening bell. I like a run to 24.9, then getting slapped down to 24.7s. All right, guys, we're seeing chips start to fall down a little bit ahead of the opening bell. Specifically, Intel down. Apple dropped some at the opening bell as well. Apple and Amazon red on the day after a few days of green. All right, chat, we got a minute and a half left. Let's see what we get. Again, Bitcoin rejected exactly at that 66,000 level we talked about right here. So it is a psychological level to at least a certain extent, I think. Looking for the fail and retest of yesterday's lows. The daughter lived with us until she graduated. She left my house and bought her own money. She saved while going to school. Yeah, 100%. And I think that's like the historical standard as well. Right? It's only been over the last maybe like 30, 40 years where it's like, hey, your kid turns 18. Get out of here, bro. You know, go figure it out. And in some ways that can create resilience and strength and, you know, they can build themselves up. But in other ways it can kind of, you know, you're not the most mature person at, you know, at those ages. So anyways, guys, we got 20 seconds left. Let's see what the opening bell brings. We will be day trading futures at the opening bell. So we will be day trading futures. All right, guys, here's the bell. Good luck. Nasdaq falling at the opening bell so far. Amazon also dipped a little bit here, but retraced immediately and went up 204s. Kind of a whippy open so far, guys. Again, Intel's down. Nvidia's up to 187s. Alphabet's down. Again, here's Amazon on the left. Looking at Apple as well. Apple's kind of pushing up some as well here. Getting some strength. Again, it's ahead of PCE and GDP data tomorrow here. Too close to the opening bell to day trade. But we're starting to retrace some of this move. Still too early. We're only 1 minute into the opening bell today. Yeah, here's Nvidia. Nvidia's a little bit muted. Oil down to 66.11s. Nasdaq still pushing up though. Get Apple, Amazon, we're slightly green. Meta, slightly green. Since the opening bell, that is. Still, a lot of these are still red on the day. Look at Microsoft turn. Microsoft now technically red on the day as well. I'd be careful a little bit, a little choppy open. Apple, though, guys, is pushing up. Look at Apple. Apple up to 263s right now. NASDAQ, again, kind of stagnating a little bit, but Apple pushing up. Intel is dumping down here. Yeah, look at Intel drop. 44s. Nvidia starting to creep up as well. Here's the 200 EMA right here. I want to see it over that first. We're now about 2.5 minutes into the day. I don't know what we get regarding the tariff decision tomorrow. I hope we get some good stuff. The last few days, what we've seen is the opening range breakdown or breakout. So I'm probably going to look for that today. Yeah, so tomorrow the court could drop a ruling on whether Trump's sweeping IEEPA-based Liberation Day tariffs are legal. And so again, if they do, it might move markets drastically. But again, we don't know for sure. Tomorrow is the first opinion day, and we don't know which batches are in each one. Or we don't know which cases are in each batch, I mean. And so we don't know if we're going to get it tomorrow, but we could. And again, we'll be streaming this live like we always do. Again, Apple pushing up still. NASDAQ very muted. Again, Nvidia is pretty flat on the day too. Even if you knew the tariff decision tomorrow, would you know the reaction? No, I think we could go either way. I think tariffs originally made the markets react negatively, so if they backtrack the tariffs, we could see positive reactions. I also think it's possible, though, on the other end of that, where it might restart the volatility cycle of the tariffs, since we've already kind of digested the tariffs, and now market's a little bit more stable. It could restart that volatility, you know, and I think they're going to do the tariffs regardless. You know, they're going to find ways to do tariffs regardless. So, should we keep or get rid of the tariffs, guys? Let me know in chat. Again, still very sideways. I have to wait for this range to break. Although I might take a little bit off of Apple here. Just because I'm up enough. Amazon's ripping up too. Take a little bit off of Amazon as well. Still very flat open. We're going to watch this range right here. Over 883s or so and under 24.8. What we're going to use as the range right now. Looks a little weak here. Maybe 5 minutes into the day. Alright, so we're going to jump in short right here, actually. Immediately got pushed back up, though. But we'll give it a second. Might add a little bit more here, see if we get a breakdown. Here we go. Ah, we almost got it. Let's see if we go back down. There we go. I'm gonna take half off there, but I think I probably got filled about break even. We'll give it a little bit more time. There we go. All right, we're add to this. There we go. Caught this breakdown here. We're still taking profit on the last bit right here. Okay. Did it cut? Okay, there we go. We're out. Nice little riding down this leg here. 24/8 might support it, so we're gonna cover right there. What? How about a long in a position now? Answer a long position? That's weird. Again, we have this 775 level right here. Nvidia's looking weak though. No, the tariffs thing is probably tomorrow. Remove the tariffs, keep the tariffs. Tariffs are inflationary. Decision is going to equal volatility either way. It is looking a little weak here for Nvidia and others. Is Trade of 8 lagging for anybody? I hate it when this happens, dude. Okay, so it's not just me regarding Trade of 8 lagging. Well, where's Quant Tower when you need it? I think Trade of 8's down. Okay, it just refreshed and I am now down. Oh, come on, man. Yeah, I can't cover my positions right now on Trade of 8. I'm now in 6 contracts here. Still think it's short though. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I can't cover my positions. Okay, it did cover one of them just now, so we covered one in the profit. I'll give this one a little bit more time. We got a really good average here, though. All right, we're going to cut it. So it finally let us cover the positions. We didn't earn as much as we could have, though, dude. We're up 400 plus, but... yeah, it looks like it's a problem with Rhythmic more than anything. I'm gonna maybe slow down my trade. We're very green on the day here. Maybe I'll day trade some stocks here. I will short Nvidia right here. You know what? Let's try it. We're shorting into a resistance level here. I didn't really get a big entry. Take 100, maybe 150 shares on the way up. If we rip back down. Pretty small here, so it's not a huge trade. Give it a little bit more time. The VWAP, see if we get the fade off of it. There we go, we're slightly green. Cover half of that, get out, maybe add back. Take some scalping strategies if we can. Yeah, we might add back on this rip. Okay, maybe no need to. Didn't get the fill there, but that's all right. I'm reading the direction well today at the very least, which is good. I'm gonna cover it around the lows here. Again, we're reading price action well, but maybe should have held a little bit longer. And NASDAQ going up a little bit. Get shorted. Is Trade of A back yet? Okay, yeah, it looks like it's bad. We're gonna jump in short right here. We add a little bit to this. See if we break down a little bit more here, right here. There we go. Starting to break down some. A little bit more here. There we go. Cut it right here on the way up. I think I made money. Let me see. Yeah, we made money. I don't know if I want to short Nvidia again here. Should have held, guys. Should have held. Should have my Nvidia short here as well that I only made $30 on, but it's okay. Amazon's up the last few days. Starting to give it back though, but we took some profit in our position earlier. Again, Trump is delivering remarks at the Board of Peace meeting. Some leaders are playing cute with the Board of Peace. You can't play cute with me, he says. He likes that word, huh? Kashkari also finished speaking. He said, if there are a few workers to build homes, then at margin, fewer homes will be built. U.S. is structurally short housing. Interest rates may be part of that, but so are zoning, material, and labor costs. All right, look at this bounce right here at this 24,775 level we have. Still bouncing at the bottom of this range here. Kind of starting to chop right now, to be honest here. Here's oil. 66.50s here for oil. Ooh. Oil testing highs of the day right now. Dollar index is to 4-week highs at over 98s here as well. Here's the Dixie. Here's the 200 exponential. I'm curious to see what we do here. 24,850s. All right, so we're still pushing up. Look at the NASDAQ jump a little bit here. Again, the president tells world leaders they cannot play cute with him. Again, we just tapped 24,850s, 200 exponential right here. Let's see if it rejects. They can and they will. Tom Lee thinks the bottom is forming. Our portfolio just went green here. All right, we jumped in a little small trade short here, but it's very small. We'll add to it. There we go. We got such an immediate flush back down. Look at that drop. Whoa. All right, I'm out. Happened so quickly here. Looks news related though. Let me make sure. We have any data at 10? We have pending home sales and Atlanta Fed GDP in 15 minutes. We'll stick around and cover that.
I love saying that name now. You know, at the beginning it was giving me a hard time. Now I love saying it. It's a beautiful name. I love it. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa of Bahrain. Bahrain. Thank you. Thank you. Where are you?
This might be moving markets as the president's comments here.
He's so rich, he can sit there. He can sit wherever the hell he wants. You know, he could sit up in the corner. He could sit up top. He might take a piece of this building, Marco. He'll take 25% of the building for about $6 billion. Thank you. And you've been very generous also. We appreciate it. Prime Minister Hun Manet of Cambodia. Raise your hand wherever you may be. Because, yeah, hi, how are you? Congratulations. That was another one, right? We did a good job with that one. Prime Minister Madbouli of Egypt. Thank you very much, and say hello to the General/President. Okay. Prime Minister.
Yeah, I mean, he's not really saying anything about markets. We'll continue to track what they're saying. Kashkari is still speaking. He said Warsh is well qualified to be Fed chair. Warsh has been outspoken in offering ideas about the Fed. Look forward to the coming discussions. And again, NVIDIA is starting to bounce back up. We're at 186s right now. Again, NASDAQ at 24,820s here. So again, we'll see if we hold. Still waiting to see what happens here. I am up about $518 on the main account I've been trading today. I'm scared to put Quant Tower up since it crashed my stream earlier. But I do love Quant Tower. So I still love you, Quant Tower. It's not using you right now. Tomorrow, maybe. And yeah, we'll see what happens. But the NASDAQ, very flat. Really tight range here. Again, I'm watching this range right here. I want to see if we break out of this range here in the NASDAQ. That's when I might take some moves. I've been playing the range so far, kind of shorting the top of it around the 200 EMA, covering towards the bottom, or trying to. And back on. Down 25 bucks? That's not that bad. Be happy it's not 2,500, sir. Again, Kashkari still speaking here. He said, not sure can shrink balance sheet without big changes. Now we're starting to head back up here. Again, we are going to stick around and cover. What do we have at 8:30 here? We have, or what do we have at 10? We got Atlanta Fed GDP now. Q4 GDP now. Now, Atlanta Fed is not the most accurate with GDP now, but maybe. Again, they're expecting 3.6%. I think the odds tomorrow for initial estimate of Q4 is 2.5. But we have pending home sales and Atlanta Fed GDP now for Q4 dropping in 10 minutes. We'll see what that looks like. Again, the president tells world leaders, quote, don't play cute with, or that's not the quote, hold on. Hey, basically, he tells world leaders they cannot play cute with him. He says, quote, you can't play cute with me. So listen, bearish on cuteness, guys, bearish on cuteness. You know? NASDAQ at 24,830s, NVIDIA at 186s. Oh my gosh, the music is too loud. I'm sorry here. I forgot I was streaming the president's comments, so I had to turn the desktop volume up. That's why the music is so loud. My bad, guys. My fault. My fault. That pawn messaging me saying, hey, turn the music down. Yep. I knew it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. My fault. The music was too cute. You know, I had to play it loud. NASDAQ, get up here to the 200 exponential right now. Will we get over this 200 EMA? The VWAP's right here on NVIDIA too. Do I want to short this? You know what? I'll take a risk and short this here. Take 150 shares maybe. Get it in time. And I didn't really quite get it big enough here. Maybe add. Here we go. Kind of a risky trade considering what's going on. The president's speaking and more. Might be able to take 200s here. If you start pushing down. We had a cushion on the day. I'll give it a second. We're right at the VWAP. Yeah, see, it's kind of risky right now. Make sure what's going on. That's kind of the worst green day. I gotta cut this. It's a huge green candle all of a sudden. We're only down $70 on this. It's fine. VIX keeps holding 20. Reddish day? I don't know, man. We're seeing some bullish action right now, really. We put closed captioning on here. Yeah, so again.
Who is amazing. I always say he needs a public relations agency because you do so much good and they have.
Not really market related. Yeah, that candle was being cute. Yeah. Yeah, we got Q4 GDP and PCE inflation data tomorrow. 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. We're right at the 200 exponential now. 5 minutes, we have some data coming out. And again, we've been day trading live today. If you want to learn to day trade, do not fund your own account thousands of dollars trying to look cool in markets. Most day traders lose. You fund your own account, you're probably going to lose. Just objectively, you're probably going to lose your first couple accounts day trading. And so instead, try Apex or try Take Profit. Take Profit, 40% off right now, no activation fees. They give you a demo. They test your skill with the demo. You pass the test, they fund you the same amount. You fail, you only lose what you pay for it, which is noticeably cheaper than losing thousands of dollars funding your own account per account at least. Again, no PDT rule on futures. Get you around the PDT rule. You can trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Russell, gold, commodities. Great way to learn with some risk, some pressure. You have to learn how to trade under pressure. There's some risk, some pressure, but not the full extent of funding your own account thousands of dollars. And so again, if you want to check it out here, here's the link. A great way to help support the channel. They are a sponsor affiliate of mine. I am biased in their favor. Some would say I'm the top 3 most biased person ever. And I'd agree with that 30% of the time. If you want to check it out, here's the link. Again, you can also see it pinned at the top of the chat. Use my promo code BG, beginner, or whatever else you want to use the abbreviation for. President said Vietnam is incredible. Incredible. Again, in about 4 minutes. We actually have Atlanta Fed GDP coming out, and we also have pending home sales. Now, we'll see what Atlanta Fed GDP says. They're expecting 3.6. Last time was 3.6. We do have actual official GDP data, initial estimate data tomorrow at 8:30. It's expected at 2.5% for quarter 4. We'll see what that looks like. NASDAQ still pushing up. Yeah, if you're talking about Apex Blaze, you could still use the old one, but the new one will work too, to be honest. But I appreciate you, Blaze. Thank you, sir. Again, if you're about to check out, remember this face and use my promo code. All right, guys. Again, 3 minutes left. 3 minutes. We'll see what Atlanta Fed GDP shows. NASDAQ's starting to get some strength here, though, moving back up after dropping at the opening bell. Because of Microsoft, I'm almost green on the day, even with this loss on Nvidia. Microsoft's ripping here, and we did buy Microsoft not that long ago. All right, guys, look at Microsoft still ripping up ahead of this report. Amazon's followed suit, pushing up as well at 205s. Oracle's back up. Google's about to go green on the day at 303.50s. Right around 304 is the previous closing price. Again, 2 minutes left. We'll see what this data shows. We are dipping to the VWAP on the NASDAQ. Again, in futures, I'm probably done. I'm up, what am I up, 500? Or something like that? Yeah, I'm up $518. I think I'm probably done in futures, right? $518.50 is a pretty good day in futures, no? A minute and a half left, guys. A minute and a half. Let's see what we get. Again, prediction markets are now expecting a U.S. strike on Iran push odds to 54%. U.S. forces, missile defenses deployed. Oil, because of that's been spiking up some here. All right, guys, we got 1 minute left for this data, and then we're going to shut it down. All right, guys, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. All right, guys, 5 seconds. Let's see what the data shows. Again, pending home sales expected at 1.4. Atlanta Fed GDP expected at 3.6. It drops right now. Negative 0.8 pending home sales. Negative 0.8 versus 1.4 expected. Negative 0.8 versus 1.4 expected. I'm not seeing Atlanta Fed GDP data show up. So maybe that's just a misscheduling here. But again, negative 0.8 for pending home sales versus 1.3 positive expected. So much weaker pending home sales than expected here. Again, I do not see Atlanta Fed GDP data out. So maybe just a misscheduling there. But pending home sales showed weaker data than expected for pending home sales. NASDAQ starting to come down a little bit actually here. So again, pending home sales showed weaker data than expected here. All right, so we did dip down to the 200 exponential here. Oil just dropped to 66.18. See, let me make sure the president's not speaking and saying anything else. Hitting home sales again, negative 0.8 versus negative 0.3 previously expected. A positive number here, though. Again, leading indicators 0.2%. The president said he's going to go to China in April. Where's Bitcoin right now? Bitcoin's back up some, though. Bitcoin is actually rebounding here. It's at 66.5s. So, yeah. Again, the president says good talks are being held with Iran, need to make a meaningful deal with Iran. All right, so that just happened here. Let's see oil. Oil now dipping on the president's words here. President said good talks are being held with Iran, need to make meaningful deal with Iran. U.S. president. Again, the president said good talks held with Iran. Oil dropping on that news. There's a lot of different platforms that you can track your stats on, to be honest. We do see Alphabet starting to push here. Alphabet is still pushing up right now. Oh, crap. I had a meeting at 9 o'clock. I forgot. Hold on, guys. Sorry, I had a meeting. My computer is really kind of messing up here, though. Dude, it did it again, bro. You see this? I don't know if it's Toss doing this or my computer's just freaking out. But weird. Dude. I'm just saying, man. Again, I'm just saying, Windows sucks. All I'm saying. All right, guys, we're coming, but look at Bitcoin. Yeah, let me check all that stuff. CPU's only at 7 to 12%. Could be memory related, to be honest. Again, look at the NASDAQ still pushing. The NASDAQ still creeping up here. Guys. And again, we're going to close this stream down. It's going to immediately bring you to the next stream. Again, we'll see what happens. Again, tomorrow, data, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Be here. Be ready. Again, it's all love here, guys. I appreciate the love. Again, use promo code BG. You want to help support the channel and prop firms, Apex, take profit. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. I got to get out of here. I'm supposed to have a meeting right now, a business meeting. So let me roll out of here, guys. Good luck. Have a great day. Again, tomorrow, PCE and GDP data. Relevant, important, watch it. And I'll see you guys later. Y'all be good. Have a great day.